Okay, but now, the coup de grace. What are the diplomatic efforts that could be complemented to make these things bear winning fruit? Well, the first one, let's see here. Yeah, the first one is something that I'm working with folks with who know much more than I do. But I put some things up that you can read. You do know that I have a website. I mean, no one goes to websites anymore, so I guess there's no danger of me sharing the website. It's npolicy.org. Okay. There are about $3 million worth of research on that site at any given one time. It's free. And there are books on there where you can search and footnotes open up, but you don't have to go to the library. You can get these things there. But essentially what he says is we need to negotiate with China and Russia and other satellite-faring states to allow each state only to transit near each state's satellite assets for so long with so many satellites. And if you violate that and you require everyone to give signals as to where they are, and if you see something that isn't emitting a signal, that's also major foul. And there is a way to do space surveillance, by the way. There's two layers to work this. Then you have what's known as the preemptive right to self-defense, but everyone has it. Chinese, Russians, not just the Americans. Then you could even build on this and say, well, if we can get to that point, maybe we could have agreements also for direct ascent ASATs and limiting those and having verification. And basically, the missile systems, we know how to do this, roughly. Would you get an immediate agreement, oh, let's sign on the line? No, but you would get people starting to assert and clarify what these zones and what the rules might be. That would be very helpful. They'd have to think that you might follow the rules even if they hadn't agreed to them. Wow. Okay, here's another favorite of mine. We have missiles that are violating INF. And one way is, oh, you got to destroy them. Another is suggested by a man named Jim Thomas, who I'm getting to know. He actually now is with Telmus. He's no longer with the CSBA. And he suggested that we allow them to keep violating INF missiles, but we force them to deploy them in Siberia, pointed towards China. And the idea here, and if that sounds odd, just remember, that's what we originally suggested before we got the zero option of eliminating these things. So it's not like this is like pulling something out of a rabbit's hat. We've been here before. If you did that, my impression would be that the Chinese might go nuts. And you say, well, I can well imagine this is an uncomfortable thing for you. Would you like to come to the table? Maybe we can do better at limiting these things. Oh, by the way, we may be talking about your missiles too. If you really want to go huge, as our president describes it, you could say you might talk with China and Russia to ban all nuclear missiles. This is what Ronald Reagan referred to in INF. They're ground-based, missile-capable missiles that have pretty good command and control for first strike purposes. Now, if it was just us arguing this, and there are people at the Naval War College that argue this and others, but I found a Russian who came up with this idea, who used to work in the foreign ministry and works in one of these institutes. So, I mean, you know, it's not like it's not in the Russian intellectual bloodstream. It's out there. Oh, this is my favorite, and this is the last slide. I always say that the India deal was a functional equivalent of kicking the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty down a flight of stairs. Except, unlike the drama, which I just finished watching, Staircase, I recommend it, on Netflix, she's still breathing, sort of. Do we want to help her get up again? If you do, you might want to say, if you violate the NPT, now does anybody know which country has clearly violated the NPT? Oh, come on now.
North Korea.
Thank you. You don't have the right anymore to launch nuclear-capable missiles as defined by the MTCR, and we can tell that by the heat signal. You might have those things shot at over your own airspace. Now, if you want to come back into compliance with the NPT, different story. You could even use this as a additional ploy with the Iranians. The case for clear violation there is a little more contentious, but it doesn't matter. You do this for North Korea, Iranians will get the picture. I like this because the thing that is deterring the Japanese and others from getting nuclear weapons is their belief in the norm of the NPT and that the lady is still breathing. This will get her upright. It has a lot of value for a lot of things. Oh, we've done this before. I mean, that's not necessarily required, but when people tell me, oh, well, you know, you're out of your mind, I go, well, we used to be out of our mind before. We can do this again. So that's your presentation.